Hey everyone, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we've got a sound system demo of the 2020 Lexus NX. This is the 300H powertrain, and it's equipped with the optional Mark Levinson sound system, which gives you 14 speakers and 835 watts of power. This comes with a $2,920 option, which also gives you navigation and this big 10-inch center infotainment screen. So this is going to be an in-depth review of the sound system. We're going to check out the system, how it works, take it on a drive, and listen to some demo tracks, and I'll give you my thoughts at the end. So before we get started, let's hop out and take a quick look at the vehicle. So this is Lexus's compact crossover. It's technically a luxury vehicle, given that it's a Lexus. I'm not a fan of these front looks, but everything from the headlights back I think is styled very nicely. I really love this orange color. This one starts at about $40,000, and as it's equipped here is about $50,000. If you'd like to see more on the car, check out our full review. The link to that will be in the description when it's available. So let's go through and take a look at speaker grill locations in the NX. We've got one down here. There's 2, 3, 4, and 5 all up front. Back seat, you got 6, 7, 8, 9. Open up the power liftgate here. And you've got, let's see, 10, 11, and I think there's a subwoofer back here somewhere. Doesn't seem like it's down here. If I had to guess, I would say it's built into here somewhere. Or, actually it might be mounted right here in the tailgate. So that could be 12. I think that's likely. I said 14 speaker. That probably means there are 2 speakers situated in one of the speaker grills. Make sure I'm not missing any up around here. That's pretty common, especially with Mark Levinson systems. Okay, so we always do these tests with sound systems set to their factory defaults, the sound settings set to their factory defaults, and we've got uncompressed WAV audio files on a USB stick plugged directly into the system. I've got high quality binaural microphones in both of my ears, giving you the most realistic audio experience available on YouTube. So let's go through audio inputs here in the NX. So you've got your standard AM, FM, satellite, XM radio, as well as Bluetooth, a CD disc player down there, 3.5mm auxiliary input jack, and USB. So what are you missing? Nada. This has just about everything aside from RCA inputs, which would make no sense to have in here anyway. Very nice to see. Alright, so let's go through and check out the different audio settings here. You control everything in this screen here through this center touchpad. No touchscreen, and it is a little infuriating to use. Even after sort of getting used to it, it's not the most intuitive system. You sort of have to know just how far to move your finger. You do get a nice amount of haptic feedback, but I've been using it for a while in both this vehicle and other Lexus products, and it's just not great. Still better than the little touch, like a trackpad, like dongle, toggle thing that they had in some vehicles, but it's not nearly as good as either just a touch screen or a rotary knob like a lot of other luxury vehicles use. But let's go over to sound here. So for audio adjustments, you've got standard, treble, mid, and bass. Let's go through those. There's mid-range. See how long it takes me to do this with this touchpad. And you have your standard front, rear, left, right, fader, and valence. Then you have automatic sound levelizer, adjusting sound volume for as you go faster or slower or more ambient noise in the cabin. And then a pretty shoddy surround setting here. It's supposed to kind of make the music seem a little more 360 and enveloping you, but I find that it kind of just adds a little extra mid-range to the sound, and I'm usually a fan of surround settings. I don't really care for it in the Mark Levinson. For audio and track adjustments, you've got a volume knob here with no detents, just a smooth turn, not a big fan of that, as well as steering wheel controls here. For track changing, you can either use the trackpad on the screen, you can use this knob here, you can use these buttons here, or these buttons on the steering wheel. All right, so let's hop on the road, listen to a few more tracks. I'll give you my opinion at the end. So we'll turn the music down here for a sec and give you a listen for how the car sounds at 75 miles per hour. Very refined, very isolated. A little bit of road noise from these tires, but very little wind noise and no engine noise. Alright, let's listen to one more track here. And for those of you familiar with these reviews, this is kind of the make or break track. It tells you a lot about how a system can handle big noise. Alright, so as you could kind of hear from that track, actually let's go here. No, I can't decide what I want to talk over. There we go. So, as you can hear from the last few tracks, the main thing I feel listening to this Mark Levinson system is sad. And the reason being is because the Mark Levinson and the Lexus GX was so good, quite possibly one of the best systems I had tested. And the Mark Levinson in the RCF that we had recently needed some adjustments, but once I got it dialed in, sounded quite good. This one though, it's like almost there. I can tell that the speakers and the amplifier, they're all capable of it. But for some reason, the sound is mixed very far forward and very high in sort of the mid-range. So if you were to look at a whole audio spectrum in terms of sounds that the human ear can hear, you've got your low ends, then your middles, and your high trebles, all different frequencies there, frequency spectrum. The Mark Levinson here in the NX, it's kind of way too much focus on the mid to high trebles. You can hear it right here in this song, there. Those type of sounds are coming through too strong. But I know that it's not the speaker's fault because it can make good bass and it can make good treble. But for some reason, the tuners just decided to put in way too much of that mid to high range. And it makes a lot of your music not sound great. It makes it kind of hard to listen to. Now, to make it a little bit better, I'm able to... What did I end up doing? I bumped up 1 on the treble to try to bring through the high notes a bit, down on the mid-range, and then up 2 on the bass. And that'll change a little bit based on what music you're listening to. And I also turned off the surround. Now that doesn't really help the mid-range too much, but what it does do is sort of compensate for it a bit with the low range and the high highs. And unfortunately, moving the sound back doesn't help as much in this vehicle as it did in the RC. So I can sort of adjust it more to the rear. And it does help the sound seem a little bit more balanced, but it doesn't take away from those hard mid-range hits, mid to high range. So, a little disappointed. It's definitely still a strong system. It's just not the excellence that I was expecting from a Mark Levinson system in a very refined and quiet SUV setup like this. It should be very easy for tuners to place speakers and make this sound system sound supreme. So, all in all, objective sound rating for... Let's go here. All in all, objective rating for the Mark Levinson system in the NX 300H, I'd be giving it about a 6.5. 6.5, actually probably about 7. It's really a quite capable and competent system, and it could sound good and loud and powerful. It's just not mixed to my liking, and I'm a little disappointed knowing what Mark Levinson is capable of, not doing that here in this car. It also gets knocked down a bit for the convolution of its infotainment system. It's just not easy and intuitive to use, even after using it for weeks. Subjectively, in the compact crossover luxury segment, I gotta put it at about a 6. There are just other competitors for this money in this class that sound better. BMW, Volvo, etc. And I bet the new Tesla Model Y system will sound quite good as well. Anyway, hope you guys were able to get a good experience for the Mark Levinson system here in the NX 300H. If you liked the video, please hit that subscribe button, helps us out a bunch. Check out our other sound reviews and check out the full review on this NX 300. I'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.